Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bungus Boys. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a tier list. This is a bit different from what you are probably used to seeing on the channel, but I thought we'd, venture out a little bit from the last few uploads that we've had. Of course, we are going to be doing the Risk of Rain 2 Survivors, as you can clearly see. And, yeah, let's have a little fun with this. This is a completely serious tier list, by the way. I am going to be ranking this based on their survivability, on how easily that you can get a good run with them. I'm not basing them just on how good they interact with items. That, of course, that's a factor, but that's not going to be the entire thing. How well they interact with items, how well they can do without certain items, like if they need to rely on one item, or a couple items, in order for their run to be successful, they are not going to be high on the list. I am also ranking them based on, of course, this is bias, a little bit, as you are going to see. Let's remove S tier before we start, because I feel like there shouldn't be an S tier for this. For all of these characters, they're all pretty well balanced. There's nothing that really stands out. Some would disagree, but this is my tier list, and I will do what I feel. So, let's start out with the classic Commando. Now, Commando, he's a bit of a weird case. In any other game, he would be the normal character. You know, the character that if you're a beginner, you will go for. In this game, you don't have much of a choice. But he's just sort of the basic dude. And there is a certain charm to that, I must admit. He's got a very fun, get into danger with the roll, or the slide, preferably. Get out of danger also with the slide. Point and shoot at things, kill them, all that good stuff. He is a very fun character to play. But he relies almost entirely on on-hit items. It is very hard for him without AoE damage. He does not stand an enormous chance. If you're on stage 4 and you don't have Will-o-the-Wisp, Gasoline, Ukulele, you need to start focusing on that. Commando relies on AoE items, and on hit items, but he is very effective with those items. He is the best on-hit character in the game. Ukulele, ATG, Tri-Tip Dagger, Sticky Bomb, all of that. Commando loves it. He eats that stuff up with his high proc coefficiencies and fast damage dealing abilities. But without items, he's screwed. So I do think B is a good place for him, honestly. Next, let's get Heretic out of the way. Heretic, A tier, easy. Probably the best character in the game. Excuse me. Probably the best character in the game. This is not scripted, by the way. I don't script anything. I do not plan. Anyway. Heretic, if you were able to select Heretic on the starting screen, people would be picking Heretic, and only Heretic all the time. Heretic, I mean, you got all the free jumps, and then you've got the massive health pool, most damage in the game. Heretic is just ridiculous across the board. The only problem is, if you don't have good healing, and you aren't efficient at keeping her negative health regeneration in check, you will not have a good time with this character. I personally almost never go for Bird. It's really niche for me, because I know that if I really am dedicated to achieving something in a run, I will do anything to get that achieved. And sometimes it can go out of whack. I will often... It's not fun sometimes. Especially for me, a person who does not respect save data manipulation to give yourself a practically infinite number of coins. I don't like that. I don't do that. So you have to be really lucky to get Heretic, but once you do, it's pretty much a free run. Some of the best abilities in the game, they all synchronize with each other really well. It's just awesome. Heretic, really, really good. Probably the best character in the game. Let's do Rex. Rex, I'm gonna say A tier with Rex. He's really good. I like the thing that they were doing with him, where it's, you know, really high damage output, the best natural healing efficiency in the game, besides maybe Void Fiend. Maybe, probably not. And really good with on-hit items. One of the best characters to go with bans. There's almost no downside to Rex. Except there's one really, really glaring flaw with him. It's, of course, he damages himself. So you are going to be spending the vast majority of the run at half health, which, of course, that's fine for some people, but for others who like stacking, say, Delicate Watch or Shaped Glass, anything that reduces max HP, Rex is kind of a nightmare to play. So, but he still does seriously good damage, and he's one of my favorite survivors to play as, if I am being totally honest. Let's do Mercenary. Mercenary, honestly, I hate this character. I hate playing as him. I don't ever want to play as him. I think he's the worst character in the game. I think he easily has the least potential out of any character. Out of every character on this list, I can get competent runs with them, if I really want to. I have to be able to win the lottery in order to get a good run with this stupid character. I do not like playing as Mercenary. I don't like any of his abilities. I think Expose, the whole Expose gimmick that he has, is kind of worthless and dumb. All of his attack hitboxes feel really difficult to hit for no good reason. And I know he's supposed to be high skill and all that, but I do not enjoy it. It is not a good experience for me. I dread having to do Eclipse with this guy. Like, Eclipse 8 with any character is going to, of course, suck a little bit. But with this character in particular, I am not excited for. I just don't like Mercenary. I don't know what to tell you. There are some item duplications that I do enjoy, such as a lot of on-hit items, but that could go for any character on this list. Like, I'll admit, Bands on the Sky feels the best on any character. I run the full default set, except for secondary, which I set to uppercut. I really like uppercut. That's the only thing I like about Mercenary. I don't know. Maybe I was desensitized of liking him because of his one mission, Ethereal, where you have to do a prismatic trial without falling below 90% health. And it took me a very long time, and I had to do it twice. One for console and one for PC, and I never want to do it again. Let's do Captain. Captain. I'll put him top of B tier. I really like Captain. I think he's a great survivor. He's a great character. He works really well with a lot of items. Excuse me. But the entire time I play him, he feels muffled somehow. Not somehow. I know the exact reason why. It's because he pretty much only has 2 abilities. Like, the beacons, I mean, you put them down, and then what? You can't use them again until the next stage. It gets you a free big boy chest, and a free legendary chest on stage 4, if you're even on one of those stages. Other than that, other than opening the occasional chest, they're useless. Don't ever take Shock Beacon, because that's horrible. Healing Beacon is alright if you find yourself... If you're a beginner, or you're just... if you want to get better at the game, and you really like Captain, then sure, take Healing Beacon. It's good for people who don't know the movement as well as others, and they just want to be able to focus on dealing damage more. Like, alright, that's cool. But the vast majority of the time, you're going to want to take Hacking Beacon. Don't even try with the Equipment Beacon. If you have Prion and a lot of good AoE damage, then maybe? But it's more worth it to have the Hacking Beacon. Honestly, in every situation. So that leaves him with 3 more abilities. The Taser, which is the stupid Taser, come on. When do you use it? You have his primary, which is probably the best primary in the game, besides maybe Heretic's pew-pews. Because its proc coefficient is crazy high for what it is. It can work at close range or far range. It's adaptive to every situation, without fail. And it's really fun to use, also. So, great primary. Love his primary. Feels really satisfying to use, also. And then we get to his utility skill, which is... well, it's Captain's utility. Do I really need to say anything? Of course, whether you take Diablo Strike or the other one, since Diablo Strike was put into the game, I've only used that. I just love the damage. I cannot resist 40,000 damage. 40,000%, excuse me. 40,000% damage. Like, that's a lot of damage. That's quite an excessive bit of damage. But, you know, those two abilities, the character feels muffled. Again, the character feels muffled. I feel like he could have been made better. But, I will not try to tell Hapu Games what to do. I'm no game developer. And I think Captain is good where he is, honestly. For the kind of character they were going for, I think he's great. Love Captain. Put him bottom of A tier. I really like Captain. So, let's do Bandit. So Bandit's kind of an interesting case, because I really like Bandit. I think he's really fun. But I also think he would be completely useless if he didn't have his passive ability, Backstab, which allows him to get crits from behind. If he didn't have that, in conjuncture with his secondary being able to put hemorrhage on, basically bleed, on anyone if he backstabs them, or if he gets crit at all, then I think he would be the worst character in the game, easily. That puts him above Mercenary. I think Mercenary is going to stay alone in this tier, honestly. But, you know, Bandit, I want to really like Bandit, and I think he's a really fun character to play as. But, unless you have really optimized movement, really good AoE, and speed, then this character is just not great. He's fun, but he's not great. And because of his low proc coefficiencies, he's not really good. He's not good with most on-hit items. Listen, I like Bandit, okay? I like Bandit. I think he's cool and fun, but I don't think he's good. But, of course, I have to talk about a special. Now, if you have a brain, you will always go to Desperado. Desperado is one of the best abilities in the game. I think so. It is simply incredible, the type of damage that you can do with it. It almost makes me not want to skip pillars if I'm doing a run with Bandit and I'm going to Mithrix. It almost makes me not want to skip pillars and instead grind on the enemies a little bit. Almost. But that being said, Bandit, I firmly believe that he would be useless without his passive ability Backstab. And I stand by that. You could make him better. Hapu Games could have pulled a fast one and, you know, changed his damage up a little bit, made him do more damage passively. Not passively, naturally. And removed Backstab. I believe we could have had a great character. But he's, with his limited kit and reliance on mobility, I think he's earned his place in C tier. So, who next? Let's go with my boy, Wally. Wally, the robot, whatever you want to call him. Man, this is a tough call because I really like Multi. Multi was my original main before I discovered Loader, and then Loader became my main. And then I started getting really good at the game, and then Artificer became my main. I mean, Multi, all of his strats are basically meta. I mean, you got double rebar, you got power mode, double nail gun, he's been nerfed and buffed to hell and back. It's kind of a swell journey to watch his patch history. His primary, whatever primary you take, that's your whole game plan. Pretty much. I think that's supposed to be the point. If you get power mode, you lose the two equipment. The two equipments is really good, because if you say you can have the executive card with Prion, so you know, you can have Gorag's Opus with another Gorag's Opus. I don't know if they stack. I'll have to check that. They probably don't stack, but if they did, that would be really cool. You could take any equipment with any equipment. You have two equipments. There's so many possibilities. But, of course, he is very, very reliant on his primary. His secondary is literally only useful on stage 1. And even then, it's not that useful. If you're taking double power saw, which don't take double power saw unless you're memeing. Seriously. I'm gonna put him low A. Most of the strategies you can do with multi are meta. You got your double rebar. That's one of my favorite loadouts in the entire game is double rebar. You got power mode nail gun, which is borderline broken. Multi is just a fantastic character all around. It's because of his primaries. His secondary and his utility are near useless. And yeah, I suppose that's it. Also, the ability, also something to mention. If you take power mode, and then you have... There's two things I want to mention about power mode, actually. If you take scrap launcher with power mode, and you take backup, and you have the item backup magazine, you will have more ammo in the secondary slot for scrap launcher, so that's something to think about. How far could you go? Could you have potentially a constant stream of damage? Potentially. Potentially. Of course, there's still... Anyway. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Let's get on with the list. Let's do Acrid. Poison Doggo. Acrid. He goes here. I think that's where he belongs. There's not much to say about Acrid. We all know Acrid. He's great. He's fun. He's awesome. We love Poison Doggo. He is he's probably the character that could survive the longest without items. If you use hit and run strats, and you just go around and poison things, and then you can rely on drones to take them out or something, I don't know. But Acrid... I always struggle to come up with items that are really good with Acrid, unless he has the proper equipment to go with them. But somehow, for some reason that escapes me, I always get really good runs with Acrid. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. he's very fun, but he doesn't really work well with most items because of his really weird melee range hybrid kind of thing they were going for, which I do like. He just feels kind of held back by something, and I'm not sure. Never take Blight, by the way. Never take Blight. Always take Poison. Alright, let's do NG. NG. Top of C tier, I think. Engineer. What's there to say about NG? We all know him. We all love him. We all know him. We all love Bungus strats. Bungus and Nekuhana's opinion. We all love it. We're all guilty. Don't even try to escape it. I have a confession to make. I have never taken his moving turrets. I have always used his auto turrets that stay there, because I am obsessed with Bungus strats, and I am not ashamed. He just... This character is weird. He completely relies on his turrets. And while it is fun, it has its limit. Your turrets can only do so much. If you don't have the proper items, your turrets will die very quickly. And then, what are you going to do? You have to wait 40 seconds for them to come back. What are you going to do then? You going to run around, drop spider mines? Probably. Is that an effective strategy? Probably not. Hello. I'm back. I was a little distracted by something, and I had to pause the recording, and now I'm back. So, I completely lost my train of thought, but I was talking about Engineer. So, I'm going to talk about Engineer. I don't like playing as Engineer. The only part I like is the turrets. And, I mean, harpoons can be fun if you have some cooldown reduction. If you got an alien head or a bandolier, Engineer's great. Love it. But otherwise, he's just... He works, but that's like saying... That's like saying boiling a frozen pizza works. Like, sure, okay, but do you really want that? Do you really want to do that instead of the more optimal way? Anyway, on to the next character. Let's do the DLC characters. Railgunner. Railgunner is strange for this game. I remember when, I don't remember if it was Paul or Duncan, but one of those two, but in one of the co-founders behind Hapu Games and this game, said that they were never going to bring Sniper from Risk of Rain 1 back because it's not the kind of gameplay that they want for this game. I remember them saying that very specifically. And then they add this character. I'm pretty sure that's liable for suing, if I'm not mistaken. Me being a lawman, of course. Anyway, Railgunner. Railgunner feels like she's not built for this game, and it's weird to play her, honestly. But she is somewhat a relieving experience, because She's not just mindlessly shooty. You have to be skilled in a very certain way. A way that you don't really have to be for the other characters. Like, for Huntress, you don't have to aim. For Commando, you kind of have to aim, but you could just get close and it'd have the same effect, if not better effect, because of damage fall off. Rex, you kind of aim, I guess. And all the melee characters, you don't have to aim for them. But with Railgunner, it's a unique experience playing Railgunner. It's kind of a breath of fresh air, in a way. And Railgunner is also very good. Her passive of only dealing critical hits, if they're zoomed-in headshots, I like it. It's a unique idea. And if you stack crit items, it's insanely good. Predatory Instincts. Harvester's Scythe. Lensmaker Glasses, that's its name. It's been a little bit since I played the game. I need to get brushed up back on the items. Anyway. Railgunner is one of the few characters that relies on crits, but she doesn't need Lensmaker Glasses in order to make it work. Slap a couple Harvester Scythes on her, and she's one of the best characters in the game. And Predatory Instincts, of course. And you can't talk about Railgunner without talking about Laser Scope. Laser Scope on Railgunner is possibly the most broken item character combination in the entire game. Besides, maybe Brainstalk's Captain. I'm not sure. I'll have to research that. But it's one of the best. All of her headshot, you get laser scope, all of her headshots, all of her good abilities instantly do double damage. She just doesn't have a lot of AoE though. If she had more AoE, she would probably be the best character in the game, but she's very held back by her single target focused damage. I like her though. Railgunner, good character. Works well with a lot of items. Bands, of course. Brain stocks. Brain stocks, nah. Speed. She is very reliant on speed, I must say. And it's very hard for her to maneuver around without Hapu feathers. But other than that, she doesn't really rely on a lot of items. Railgunner, I like her. She's cool. Void Fiend. I mean, I think he's comfortable right there. Void Fiend, corrupted form, downright broken. If you have backup magazine on Void Fiend, like 5 backup magazine, you win. You win the run. It's simple as that. You win the run if you have enough backup magazines for Void Fiend, because corrupted mode instantly shoot out 5 or 6 of those balls. Anything is going to die, especially if you have bands. And crowbar and good items. I can't think of a single downside with this character. Every other character on this list I can think of a downside, but I can't think of any real downsides. I suppose he's not great with on-hit items, I suppose. Not including bans, of course. He's one of the best characters that utilizes bans. Yeah, he's just a really good character all around. His utility is a bit weird, but it does have its uses. And its uses, while a little niche, are very important. You can do some crazy stuff with Corrupted Mode. I used to think Corrupted Mode was stupid and dumb and boring, but the more I got to know the character, he really started appealing to me. And now I play him a lot. He just... And the ability to heal himself, of course, is great. His passive that he has, where the more void items he collects, the larger minimum corruption energy that he has. That's fantastic. I don't think I need to say so, but it is. Once you get enough void items, you can heal all the time. It's stupid, honestly. So, yeah, Void Fiend works well with a lot of items. I can't think of a single item that he's not good with, besides the ones that are generally bad, like Squid Polyp, of course. Yeah, we're just gonna move on. Let's do Huntress. Huntress, solid character. Solid character. Huntress is a solid character. Solid beginner pick. She's really good all around. She doesn't have any standout qualities that are bad besides, of course, her low HP. Which, that's an easy fix. Get a couple bison steaks. And, you know, she's good. She does rely on grouped encounters. Her single target damage is not the best. With Ballista, it's incredible. To a point. So, Huntress is just a solid character all around. Besides her low health, I can't think of a single weakness she has. She doesn't attack very fast, I guess, which means on-hit items aren't as good with her, but she has Laser Glaive, which has some of... In grouped encounters, it has some of the highest DPS in the game. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check. I'll have to... Don't quote me on that. I'll have to fact check that. But Huntress, really good. She's really fun. I can always look to her if I just want to have a good classic fun run with Risk of Road 2. Of course, really high mobility. Some of the best natural ability and mobility in the game. She can clear out stages really fast because of her... She doesn't need to rely on aiming, pretty much. She's got aimbot on a lot of her abilities, which is not a bad thing. So, yeah, just really good character. I can't put her anywhere below top of B tier. Let's get one thing out of the way. Loader. I mean, come on, it's Loader. The Loader is ridiculous. Fastest character in the game, easily. One of the highest DP, one of the best burst damage attacks in the game. That being punch. Either of them. Ridiculous damage. Ridiculous mobility. The best band user in the game, by far. She's insane. When I'm playing her sometimes, I cannot believe the tools that Hoppu Games gave her. Free barrier on any physical hit that she does. Very, very fast. Very, very hard hitting. She's simple, brainless character, but she works. She works really, really well. Which leads us on to the last character, my main Artificer. I have to be as honest as possible. This is a serious tier list. And I put her here. Yes, I do not think Artificer, trying very hard to ignore my bias here, I do not believe she is the worst in the game. I stand by Mercenary being the worst in the game. For no other reason than I don't like Mercenary. And shut up. Please. If you don't agree. But, Artificer. I love Artificer. I love playing as Artificer. She's my main. She feels really, really good to play. She's possibly the best character against Mithrix, thanks to her utility. She's just so satisfying to play. I love every ability that she has. She's just too fragile, though. She is really, really squishy. There are a lot of fixes that Hoppu could make to this. They could simply increase her damage more to balance the glass cannon thing to be more cannon than glass. They could... I had this idea for another utility where she can give herself a shield that would make her... that would either make her completely invincible or would just give her full barrier for, like, what, 3-5 seconds? If that alone would give her... that would make Flamethrower viable. Even though I always take Flamethrower anyway because I love Flamethrower. I can't resist a good opportunity for arson. There's just so much to talk about with Artificer. She works really well with bans. She works really well with on-hit items. The DPS that she possesses is... it's just awesome. I'm trying to think of what else to say. I lost my train of thought again. Holy crap. Her primaries, I love Ice Lance. It might be because it gives me warm feelings of nostalgia, because I used to play D&D a lot, and my very first character ever was a halfling sorcerer, and one of my best magics was Ice Lance, and I would use it all the time, and my DM hated me because I always got really good rolls with it. But even ignoring that, I really like Ice Lance. You can sprint with it while charging. It's just so satisfying. Artificer, as a character, if I had to sum her up, would be satisfying. I just wish she had more. If they gave her defense, if they gave her natural defense, like 15 natural defense, 20, something around that range, made her just a little tiny bit more beefy, that would be awesome. That would be so great. I would love that. Please, Hapu. Please. I need it. I need buffs for my Artificer. So, just above Acrid, just below Commando. I think that's where she belongs. I would put her at the top of the list if this was a non-biased tier list. It's not biased at all. It's not biased at all. Nothing biased about this. Completely objective. No subjectivity whatsoever. Anyway. Yes, that is my tier list for Risk of Rain 2. Now it's my final tier list. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. What changes would you make? Do you think I'm a stupid moron? If so, shut up. No one cares. Anyway, that is my tier list for Risk of Rain 2, The Survivors. I will probably end up making an items tier list too, but that video will take a lot more time. Anything else? Nope. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Have a good time out there. Bye-bye. This is the Bungus Boys signing off. Bye.